Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back online for those that stuck around. For those who were in the breakouts virtually, please let us know how it went for you, because last time we tried, our last hybrid meeting, we split up virtual from the in-person folks. But this time we were really trying to, take one topic and have the whole group involved in the same discussion. And it was a bit of an experiment. So if there are things we can do better next time, it's really important that you provide us that feedback. So before we close out, I have just a couple quick things. I'm going to give you a summary of kind of what I think the big take-home point out of the funding workshop, the funding panel was, and I guess I just gave a spoiler to what one of the take-homes is, and then have a couple folks from the different groups just come up and kind of give us their 1 or 2 sentence summary of high-level findings, and then we'll be writing these up. So we write up kind of a overview of the meeting as a whole in a report, and we're going to look at all your questions and pull these together into findings to really help document what the questions from the community were about, so that we can feed those forward, we can share them with NASA, and we can also try to use our next meeting to address some of those. So you can look forward to that. As I said earlier, we have the Slido questions, and we're going to be tracking down answers for those who asked Slido questions. And even those that did get answers, I think we'll try to make sure that we have written answers as well for you, and we will post those online. So the funding workshop, God, I said it again. In the funding session, we talked about things like how can we make it easier for those of you that have to navigate the whole funding world of NASA space tech. How can we make it easier for you? How can we help NASA understand how to better serve your needs? And we've talked about the idea of a funding workshop, and then maybe like a funding portal where you can look at a high level, here's the opportunities that are there. If you're academia, you want to go down this pathway. If you're industry, you want to go down this pathway. But then how can we also make sure that the folks on either pathway talk to one another, because there's opportunities for like academia to be a partner on a small business initiative, and likewise with something like Luster for nonprofits or for businesses to partner with the academic institutions that are leading it. So we will take that as an action and try to really develop something like that. And I will hand off to, who's going to go first? James. I'm going to make you do it. Sorry, James, to tell us a little bit about the MOSA space law and the big picture findings.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Yeah, so I was in the space policy, MOSA, and big picture breakout room, right? So our goal in an hour is to figure out all the problems with space law and MOSA. We got pretty close. No, but in all seriousness, we had some fantastic conversations, and some of the biggest takeaways was some discussions on lunar rights and setting norms, and how we need to be really careful, and we have a great opportunity right now to discuss those norms and behaviors before people just kind of start going and setting their own norms, and the time to act is now. And the other thing on a similar note is on standards and modularity. The importance of setting those standards now as a community, to make sure that that all folks as a community have rights and access to the moon. So we're gonna take some of these notes as actions, and then figure out ways that we can best help the community. So, thanks. Yep.
All right, so yeah, I was in the Envision Futures breakout session. I'm Wes Furman, and we were talking about the Envision Futures that we heard earlier today, how those details, if they were sufficient, if they weren't. There was a lot of discussion over whose responsibility, where these activities turn over into commercial viability, and so on. And I think one thing that we really coalesced on towards the end was the idea of holding some sort of mock PDRs, nitpicky sessions where NASA can say, this is kind of where we see the handoff point, and industry can say, well, we need this, we need that. That's how we move towards what industry actually needs. So I think there was an awful lot of support and sort of appreciation for the transparency with which NASA presented all of their futures and the way that they're kind of constructing these portfolios, and a lot of really great ideas that we're going to try to fold into our upcoming telecons and workshops. So that was ours.
All right, hi, I was part of facilitated the follow-on to the Regolith to Rebar workshop. And it was a really fun discussion, wide-ranging, kind of wild discussion about what the next steps should be and what the questions are that we should be asking ourselves. What are the products we need? And many other things, standards, reliability, what do we want to build on the moon versus bring to the moon? And the summary is very simple. We probably need to have a workshop to figure out what it is what we need to do next. Okay, it's that simple. We couldn't come up with any answers at that point because everything is wide-ranging, but a lot of interest, a lot of conversation. So if you were part of that, please go ahead and send us emails, like I said, about what you think the next workshop should entail. And there's a Confluence site, so I'll make sure it's still up to date. Thank you.
So I stood there looking at the stage, debating if I should try to hop up from the non-step side and deciding that the great, ending on a flopping, like belly flopping onto the stage might not be the best ending ever. So anyway, I want to thank everyone very, very much. And once again, urge you, if you have feedback, even if it's negative, I prefer constructive negative, but just to let us know, because we really want to make this something that is helpful to you and helps everyone really thrive in this community. So finally, and don't leave, Christina. One more round of applause, please, for Christina and Andrea, who really have done heroes work. Thank you. They are amazing. They were here at 5 a.m. to set things up, and here till 7 breaking it down. So I really, we appreciate their support so much. Thanks, everybody, and have a safe trip home. Yes. Take care, everyone.